Hey everybody! Well, you did it. Here we are on day 5 of the 5-day buyer bootcamp. Hopefully you've been able to pick up several cash buyers and are well on your way to a couple sales. So today we're going to talk about pricing and how to figure out what an investor will likely pay for a property, how to come up with a rehab estimate when you have absolutely no experience with flipping properties, and why you should not let yourself fall into analysis paralysis over it. I'm going to show you how to check and see if your numbers are in line with the other investor purchases in the area. So let's hop on over and get started. And we're back. What is ARV? From the investing standpoint, ARV is after repair value. And over the years, I've asked many of the agents I've trained what they think it stands for, and a lot of them tell me average retail price. And technically, they can be the same, but not really. Okay? If you don't know the correct lingo when you're working with the investor, you're going to be dead in the water before you even get started. So if you're going to be working with the cash buyer investors, you need to be thinking in terms of after repair value. Okay. Right now, the current formula for ARV that is around the US, I mean, it's average and every area is going to be different. But the current formula is ARV times 70% minus rehab amount, minus your rehab amount equals the MAO, or maximum allowable offer. Okay. While every investor is different in terms of what they're looking for, the general standard tends to be 30% of the deal for a flip property and 10% ROI on a buy and hold property. So to get your ARV, you're going to need to find the comps that have been updated and upgraded to compare the property to. Because remember, you're not looking at what the property's worth right now. You're looking at what it's going to be worth once they complete the repairs. Okay? Once you have that number, you're going to multiply it by 70%. And then you're going to subtract your rehab number. Before we talk about coming up with a rehab amount, I want to address a couple of things. If you've never flipped a house yourself, it's super easy to suffer from analysis paralysis. So let me put your mind at ease just a little bit. The rehab number you'll be required to come up with is a ballpark number. Do not get caught up in coming up with an exact number. Every single investor out there is going to come up with a different number from you. Now, they may be somewhere near where your number is, but they're all going to have a different number. Okay, so we're going to be ballparking these numbers. And when you're sending these out to the investors, I don't even put a number in there. I let them come up with their own number. If you decide you do want to put a number in there, by all means, that is your decision. That is, that's a business decision for you. However, doing that is kind of opening yourself up to having them reject the property just because your number is wrong and not necessarily running their own. Instead, when you are sending out your marketing to the investor, what you want to do is you want to tell the investor it's a light rehab, it's a mid-range rehab, heavy rehab, it's a tear down. Okay. However, with that being said, I want you guys to know how to come up with these numbers for an estimate, because that's going to make a difference when you are looking at what the investor is able to offer on the property. Okay, if you're sending a property out to a buyer assuming it only needs $10,000 in work and they think it's a tear down, your numbers are going to be so far off, the deal is not going to work for them. And that's kind of what happens with a lot of investors working with agents. That's kind of why they reject a lot of those offers, because the agents don't understand the numbers and they don't send over a property that will match the numbers that actually match the work. needs to be done in the house. So for a light rehab, when I say a light rehab, I'm talking about cosmetics only. I'm talking about flooring, paint, light fixtures. We're going to use a figure of $20 per square foot. So if the property is 1,000 square feet, you're going to use $20,000 for the rehab. If the property you're looking at needs paint, carpet, flooring, or paint, flooring, fixtures, and it also needs kitchen and bathrooms updated, then you're going to be using $25 a square foot. So on our example of 1,000 square feet, your rehab amount is going to be $25,000. If the property you're looking at is going to need a roof, an air conditioner, a new septic tank, we're going to use $40 a square foot. If you have a property that has no walls, no plumbing, no electrical, then we're going to use $50 a square foot. So on 1,000 square feet, you're going to say it's a $50,000 rehab. And these, of course, are estimates, but they're going to help you come up with a good idea as to where your investor is going to be as far as their offer when they're trying to purchase the property. Okay, now let's talk about a way for you to verify you're in the ballpark on an investment property when you come up with the offer for the investor or where you think that they need to be. Okay, so whether you're using the MLS or PropStream, you're able to pull the cash-only comps. I'm going to show you in just a minute how to pull the cash comps in both of those systems. But let's break it down a little bit. For the most part, the cash comps are the investor purchases. It's going to be very rare that you see a retail sale with a cash purchase. So when you're looking at the properties that an investor can make an offer on, you can always go back in and verify to make sure you are in line with what those investors are paying in that particular area, that subdivision, that zip code, that county. So let me show you how to do that.
Okay, so let me show you how we're going to come about these offers in a very, very quick way. When you're on the phone with these sellers and they want an offer right away and you don't want to lose interest with them, you want to be able to give them a ballpark number and be able to start and just to see if you guys are on the same page. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the cash offers in the area. Okay, so let's just pick the street right here, Ivanhoe. Let's do 511 Ivanhoe Way. Okay, so we're going to pull up the property and we're going to go to our comps. Okay, we're going to look in, let's do a half mile. I'm going to make sure this is checked to single family, which it is. Okay, so you see we got one comp here at 200. I'm assuming this right here is a typo on the property appraiser's website because this area does not justify $2 million. So let's go out a little bit further so we can see a little bit more what's going on in this neighborhood. Oops. Not looking for cash. We're looking for regular comps. Okay, so we have 15 comps, and if we kind of go through them, we can see that they're trending in the 200 range. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through here and we're going to pick the ones that are above 200. Okay, so we dive into this a little bit deeper when we're doing our real research here, but as you can see, we're going to be ranging for an ARV of around 215 to 220, 215 to 225 actually. Okay, so now if we're on the phone with a seller and they want an offer right now and you don't have a whole lot of time to go through these comps and see which one it is closest to, we're going to go to our cash buyers. Okay, make sure we're a mile out And we have single family only because this is a single family property. Let's see what the cash buyers are paying in this area. Okay, so we already know that our house is worth around $200,000. So we have some people who have paid cash to live in the property. If you look here, I generally tend to throw out the lowest and the highest. And again, I think this $2 million is a typo. So we've got 105, we've got 140, 100, 126. So if you kind of average those all together, you can see that the cash buyers in this area are paying right around 105 to 120. Okay, so we had our ARV at 220, and we're going to multiply that by our 0.7, which would be our ARV formula, minus, let's give a $25,000 rehab just to be on the safe side. So right now 70% of 220 is 154, so we're going to take 25,000 off of that, and let's say we want to make $10,000. Okay, that would bring our maximum allowable offer here at 119, which is, like I said, right between that 105 and 120 that we're looking at on these cash buyers. Okay, so if you can get that property for 119 or less, it's going to get scooped up by an investor. Okay, and that is how you find your cash offer without knowing the ARV. So if we hadn't looked up the ARV first, we would just know that we needed to offer between 100 and 120. And that is how you do it. Let's look at another one just so we can show that this isn't a fluke. Okay, I'm going to pick another area that I know is a good cash buyer market. Okay, and this only works, guys, if you're looking at properties that are in a market that's 20 to 25% cash sales. Okay, so let's pull the 32808, which I know is a really good market for cash buyers. And let's just look at this first one that pops up. Okay, so we're going to look at the cash sales first. Okay, we're going to go back 6 months. And make sure that we're only looking at single family properties. And we're going to go half mile. Okay. We have 106. This 35 we're going to just throw right out. And then 174, we're always going to throw out our highest and our lowest. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay, so you can see the 3 2s are going for about 142. And if you'd like, we can go out a little bit further just to verify. Okay, where we now have 25 properties to look at. Okay, here's a 4-3 at 123. Remember we had looked at that 3-2 at 142. Here's another 3-2 at 142. A 3-2 at 130 or 129. Here's a 4-2 at 140. A 3-2 at 140. So you can see the cash trends, you have more 140s in here than anything else. So I would say that it would be safe to make an offer around 130 because you want to make sure you've got enough money in here to add your assignment fee. Now let's take a look at your comps and see how close we are as far as ARV. I want to look at single family homes within a mile. Here we have one for 200. Another for 200. $201. $214. There's one at $215. There's a couple of them in here for the 340 area, but I don't think this area really justifies that. There's another 206 and another 200. So 230. Another 215. Okay, so without digging super deep into these properties, you can see you're worth about 210. Okay, at 210 times 70%. It's 147. So if you wanted to make the offer, like I said, you would be around 130 so that you'd have room for your fees. Okay, and that's how you make an offer within minutes on an investment property without knowing the ARV first. Hopefully that was helpful for you. Have a great day.
All right, everybody. I know that that has been an intense 5 days with a lot of information. But by now, you should have several cash buyers in your pipeline, and you should be looking for properties for all of them. So tune in tomorrow, where I'm going to do a bonus training and show you how I average closing 5 to 10 properties a month. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.